Welcome back to State of the Union. Nearly all abortion is on track to become illegal in Oklahoma after the state legislature there passed a bill to outlaw abortion after the moment of fertilization, except in cases of rape, incest, or the life of the mother. Here with me now is the governor of Arkansas, Republican Asa Hutchinson. Thank you for joining me this morning. We talked about Oklahoma a lot this week, got a lot of attention for banning abortion, as I said, starting at fertilization. But, Governor, in 2019, you signed a law in Arkansas that would do the same if Roe v. Wade is overturned. And your law only has exceptions for the life of the mother. So just want to be clear. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, no woman, unless her life is at risk, will be able to get an abortion in Arkansas?
If Roe versus Wade is reversed, then the trigger law in Arkansas would come into effect. And whenever I signed that law, I did express that I support also the exceptions of rape and incest. So the life of the mother and rape and incest are two exceptions that I believe should have been added that did not have the support in the General Assembly. And so we have to wait and see what the Supreme Court actually does. But if that Roe versus Wade is reversed, then what we've fought for 40 years in returning the authority back to the states will actually happen. You'll see states making different decisions based upon the values and the consensus of the people of that state. In Arkansas, we actually passed a constitutional amendment supporting the life of the unborn and recognizing that. And so the will of the people of Arkansas has been expressed.
Governor, you did sign the law that does not include any exceptions for rape and incest. I know you said that you would rather that not be part of the law, but it is, and you signed it. So I want to discuss the real world implications of this. For example, why should an 11 or a 12-year-old girl who's impregnated by her father or her uncle or another family member be forced to carry that child to term?
I agree with you. I've had to deal with that particular circumstance even as governor. And while it's still life in the womb, life of the unborn, the conception was under criminal circumstances, either incest or rape. And so those are two exceptions I have recognized, I believe are very appropriate. And what will happen as time goes on, if Roe versus Wade is reversed, these are going to become very real circumstances. I think the debate and discussion will continue, and that very well could be revisited.
But Governor, what if it can't be? I mean, you wanted the legislature in Arkansas to put those exceptions in. They didn't. Your term is almost up. What makes you think you can change it? And if you can't, that means that people who are still girls who are still children, 11 and 12-year-olds, might be in this situation in a very real way in just a couple of months, potentially.
Well, those are heartbreaking circumstances, and that's where in the last few years when we passed these trigger laws, we're expressing a belief. We're trying to return that authority to the states and to reduce abortions. But whenever you see real-life circumstances like that, that debate is going to continue. And the will of the people may or may not change. But it's going to come back to the state's flexibility on that. I believe that those exceptions are going to be important in overall to save lives, because the public understands those exceptions, the importance of it. So I think that will be revisited. There's no guarantee of that, but the public opinion does matter whenever you come to your elected representatives.
Separate from those exceptions, I want to ask broadly about the responsibility of men here. Right now, a woman or a girl who has an unplanned pregnancy, if she wants to get support from the man who impregnated her, she has to seek him out, prove paternity, and then convince a judge to rule in her favor. And that all can take years, and it puts the burden on the mother. Are you going to change the system in Arkansas to hold men equally responsible for the children they're bringing into the world?
They should be held equally responsible, both in terms of paternity responsibilities, child support. Absolutely, that should happen. And if we can speed up the system to be able to accomplish that, then absolutely we should do that. And we talked about the difficult circumstances. The state does have a responsibility to help in terms of maternal health care, in terms of the child, and maybe in these circumstances making sure that there's the assistance that's needed. So we need to have wraparound services if there is those unexpected pregnancies that are traumatic or challenging.
Well, Arkansas already struggles to support vulnerable children. Nearly 1 in 4 children in Arkansas lives in poverty. More than 4,600 kids are already in your state's overloaded foster care system. Do you really think that your state is prepared to protect and care for even more children if abortion does become illegal there?
We've had historic challenges with poverty in Arkansas, but you're talking about access to health care. Under my leadership, we continued the Medicaid expansion, so we've improved health care access in our state. We've increased the support for foster parents and foster children. That's been a high priority, and so we're addressing those needs. Obviously, there's always opportunity to do more. And we have to address this issue with compassion because of the difficult circumstances and the fact that you're dealing with the most vulnerable of our population. So absolutely, we need to continue to address the issues that you just spoke about and to make sure that we're providing good answers and support that's needed.
Governor, let's talk about the state of the Republican Party. On Tuesday, Pennsylvania Republicans nominated Doug Mastriano for governor. He spearheaded efforts to overturn the 2020 election, was at the Capitol on the grounds on January 6th. You're chairman of the National Governors Association. You're an outspoken critic of the GOP's election lies. Does the prospect of Mastriano becoming governor in Pennsylvania alarm you?
Well, what's important is that a candidate for governor of every state run on the future and problem solving. The issue is going to be the inflation, the cost of gasoline. It's going to be crime that we're struggling with across the country. And so if you spend your time dealing with the past and the election results of the last year, then you're not going to be in good position. You've got to focus on the future. I expect our candidates to do this. Whenever your previous interview talked about the shortage of baby formula, we could have more shortages this fall. Whenever you're looking at inflation, a large challenge with the inflationary cost is the increased supply chain and the difficulty of the supply side. We've got to be able to focus on that, and our candidates need to focus on that in the fall. And if we do, party of ideas, we're going to win this fall, and I think we're in good position to do that.
So yes or no, should Doug Mastriano be the governor of Pennsylvania?
Well, I hope our Republican wins in November. It's all going to be about the contrast. There's a lot of issues at stake here. And so let's see how the campaign progresses. And we talk about the future. We're going to win, and I hope he does.
Governor Asa Hutchinson, I really appreciate you coming on this morning and talking about these very important issues.
All right. Thank you. Good to be with you.